Happy Tuesday! It's Miss Jen from Polk County Public Libraries, and we're back with another Tales and Tales virtual story time. So this week our theme is mythical animals. Miss Amelia is going to read How to Dress a Dragon, and I'm going to read Una, which is about a mermaid, and we're going to sing a song about unicorns. And you can also pick up your free Take and Make kit this week to make a 3D unicorn. And for any grown-ups who are watching the video, we have the August adult craft kits out as well, so come pick one of those up to make a mandala coaster. I also wanted to announce some upcoming events that we have. So next Tuesday will be our final virtual story time, and then we are going to start some in-person story times back up. So next Wednesday, August 18th at 10:30 a.m. at Columbus Library, we have a special guest, Alice Fagan, who is a Polk County native and a children's author and illustrator. She is going to do a story time with her new book, The Collectors, and we're going to make a fun craft as well. And then at the end of August, we are going to have our stuffed animal sleepover and story time. So that will be at both libraries. It will be at Columbus Library the week of the 23rd and Saluda Library the week of the 30th. So you will bring your stuffed animal by and drop it off. It will stay the night at the library, and our security cameras are going to take lots of pictures of all of the stuffed animals' adventures that night. And then the next morning, you'll come pick your stuffed animal up. You'll see all the photos, and we'll have a story time for you. So check out our website or Facebook page for more info on those events. And enjoy this week's Mythical Animals story time. Una was sweet and a little bit salty, like the ocean where she lived. She was also brave and curious, like most treasure hunters. When Una was just a baby, no bigger than a scallop, she chased a pearl into the mouth of a whale. Lucky for her, she popped right back out. As the years passed, Una found bigger treasure and even bigger trouble. It's a good thing she has Otto. Una rescued Otto from an oyster net when he was just a pup. She taught him tricks like sit, roll over, walrus, and her favorite, pufferfish. Una and Otto searched for treasure nearly every day. They uncovered keys and coins and buttons and bottles. Sometimes they even found lost gold, and sometimes lost glasses. But there was one special treasure Una could never quite reach: the crown. It was extra sparkly in a way that made Una's heart thump. But the crown was stuck deep in the rift, and not a pole or a pail or the sticky stick of a snail could get it unstuck. Still, Una was determined. Her next plan was a good one. She'd knock the crown loose. Unfortunately, the current shifted. The lobster crate and rock drifted, and the squid, well, see for yourself. It's hard to say who was more surprised when the water cleared, Una or the shark. Her third plan most definitely would have worked if the crabs hadn't been so crabby and the waves hadn't been so wavy. And if that long ship plank hadn't bumped her head hard before the greedy rift gobbled it up too. Poor Una. This was getting personal. She shouted into the pit, "You can keep your dumb crown. I quit." Generally speaking, mermaids are not quitters, but at this point, one could hardly blame her. Instead of looking for treasure with Otto, Una napped on the rocks with the sea lions. She drew pictures in the sand with the starfish, and she read from her favorite glass bottles with her land friends. All of this would have been perfectly fine, except Una wasn't perfectly fine. Clearly, she was missing her spark, and a mermaid without her spark is like a seagull without an appetite. Unnatural. A seashell washed ashore. Una studied it thoughtfully. It gave her an idea. She got right to work. The next day, Una peered nervously into the rift. Why did it look so much deeper and scarier than she remembered? Otto pretended to be a narwhal, making Una laugh. Admittedly, the new treasure hunting goggles she'd invented were funny looking, but they were also her best shot at reaching the crown. She dove to the bottom of the murky rift. That's when Una noticed something she couldn't see from above. A bridge. A bridge made from a crate, a rock, and the very same plank that had plunked her on the head. And it led straight to the crown. But what was that rumbling sound? It grew louder and louder. The ocean floor shook, and the water around Una churned into a thick stew of swirling sand and sea creatures. She couldn't see. She felt trapped. Would the hungry rift gobble her up too? Through the commotion, Una could hear something else in the distance. It was faint, but comforting and familiar. The whales. Una sang along until the rumbling stopped and the water cleared. Finally, this was her chance. Una held her breath. Ready, steady, aim! Clink! Hooray! We did it, Una cheered, placing the crown on her best friend. It really is beautiful, she gushed. But these, Una said excitedly, holding up her new goggles, these are spectacular. Otto agreed, because sometimes the best treasure in the world isn't found. It's made.
You have to have one horn to be a unicorn, a magical, mythical horse. You have to have one nose, 2 ears, 4 legs, and a rainbow tail, of course. You have to have one horn to be a unicorn, a fabulous fantasy horse. You have to have blue eyes, a heart of gold, and a rainbow tail, of course. Fly high up in the sky, dancing in the air. Flying low, now down you go, dancing here and there. You have to have one horn to be a unicorn, a magical, mythical horse. You have to have one nose, 2 ears, 4 legs, and a rainbow tail, of course. You have to have one horn to be a unicorn, a fabulous fantasy horse. You have to have blue eyes, a heart of gold, and a rainbow tail, of course. Swooping high up in the sky, dancing in the stars. Swooping low, now down you go, dancing near and far. You have to have one horn to be a unicorn, a magical, mythical horse. You have to have one nose, 2 ears, 4 legs, and a rainbow tail, of course. You have to have one horn to be a unicorn, a fabulous fantasy horse. You have to have blue eyes, a heart of gold, and a rainbow tail, of course.
How to Dress a Dragon by Thelma Godden. If you have to dress a dragon, you must be prepared to catch him as he flies by. You may have to tackle him to the floor and give him belly kisses. Once your dragon is still, it will be time to put on his underwear. The good thing is, dragons love underwear, especially froggy superhero ones. Silly dragon, Ha ha, hee ho ho ha. You may have to sit saddle your dragon to put on his socks. Dragons have very ticklish toes. Silly dragon. Dragons do not like shirts with buttons. Dragons do not like shirts that pull over their heads. Dragons do not like shirts. But they do like capes. Dragons prefer shorts instead of pants. Shorts are much easier to put on with big dragon feet. Shoes can be tricky. Please, dragon, don't scrunch up your toes. But if you let your dragon wear his froggy boots, he will be very happy. Dragons are very picky about hats. They will only wear ones that fit nicely between their horns. When your dragon is all dressed, he will want to go play outside. But beware! If he wants to play his favorite game of Dragon and Knight, your dragon will insist on being the knight. Silly knight. The end.